Who were the big draft winners? Who were the big draft losers? And how did our teams do well? What kind of grades do we give our teams as well as the others? Well, we're going to try to answer those questions and many others as we recap the 2022 NFL Draft here on Fantasy Football Fever, starting right now.
15 seconds to air. Stand by, all cameras.
Ready with slow motion and isolated cameras.
Stand by, videotape, and roll tape.
And tape is rolling in less than 5, in 3, 2, 1.
Take tape.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It is May 7th, 2022. And just remember, tomorrow is Mother's Day. So if you're with your mother, give her a big hug, give her a big kiss, wish her happy Mother's Day. And if you can't be with your mother, be sure to give her a call, give her a text, whatever. Of course, that's what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I've got my two good buddies with me. I've got our league commissioner, Mr. John Natale, with us.
Hello.
Yep, and of course, I've got the main brain of sports, the one and only John Flynn, the host of that's Hooked on Sports. How you doing, Flynn?
I'm doing good, Tim. How are you doing?
Hey, doing pretty good. Can't complain. Can't complain. We're just about to talk some NFL draft here. We're just a week past from the big 2002 NFL draft, and as expected, a lot of wide receivers were taken in the first round. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this total was what, 6, 7.
Yep, something like that. And what we also had was the big four wide receivers. We all anticipated they would all go in a row, but that they went 4 out of 5 picks from picks 8 through 12. With Drake London going to Atlanta, Garrett Wilson going to the Jets, the Saints trading up and drafting Chris Olave, and how about the Detroit Lions? They move up 20 spots to draft Jamison Williams from Alabama, and we can't say enough of the incredible draft the Lions had, and it really centers in with their 2 first-round picks. So the Lions drafted star edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan with the number 2 overall pick, and what a great story that is with Hutchinson staying in Michigan where he grew up and now gets to play for the hometown Lions, and that's gonna be so cool. And then the Lions trading up and getting the last of the great available wide receivers with the 12th overall pick, and they did, and I'm surprised they did not give up that much from Minnesota to trade up and draft him. So I'm very curious about how Minnesota did on that regard.
Yeah, well, we can definitely say that Detroit is one of the big draft winners. In fact, our man Flynn has a list of 7 big winners and 7 big losers. So what you got for us, Flynn?
Yeah, so these are some of the things from Hooked on Sport from my Hooked on Sports podcast earlier this week. So I'm gonna start though with the Baltimore Ravens because because the Ravens just put on they just put on a graphic because a clinic because they drafted Tyler Linderbaum at 25, and then they drafted Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame with their 14th overall pick, and then they just kept filling in a lot of needs in a lot of different places. And Eric DeCosta is a pro at this, and I thought the Baltimore Ravens got so much better as time went along. Not only for the short term, but for the long term as well. Now, David Ojabo is not going to get much playing time this season because he's recovering from a torn Achilles he suffered on his pro day. But So, but look, you need to think about the Baltimore Ravens as a legit Super Bowl contender, and don't let the win-loss record fool you from a year ago. They went 8-9, and they were in last place in the AFC North. So, but the Ravens you need to be considered as a legit Super Bowl contender, right there with the Chargers, with Buffalo, with Denver, and Baltimore's draft solidified that, filling in needs. They needed someone to pair up in the secondary and deep. And Kyle Hamilton is the best safety prospect the draft has seen in the last 5 years. And Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens needed offensive line help, and they got that at 25. Now, I did have Tyler Linderbaum landing in Baltimore on my mock draft, but my goodness, they had the 23rd overall pick. They let the Bills trade up and get an area of need for them, and the Ravens still got their guy anyway at 25. That was an impressive draft once again from the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we got to talk about the Jets, Tim, and I sent you a graphic for this, and it really illustrates the sea change from overmatched general managers like John Idzik and Mike McCagnon to a laser-focused general manager like Joe Douglas. And Tim, if you can get that graphic up, if you can, that would be great, because I prepared one for tonight, if you can.
I'm working on it.
All right. Yes. So we'll get on. We'll get to the Jets in a little bit. And, all right. Never mind. Here we go. And this is a master class draft by Joe Douglas. You could say that the Jets got 4 instant impact players with their first 4 picks, and they got a Sauce Gardner at 4, which I thought was the pick all along. They selected Garrett Wilson with the 10th overall pick. Said Jermaine Johnson, Jermaine Johnson. I had Johnson going number 8 overall to Atlanta. That he falls all the way to 26, and the Jets trade up, and they pounce on that opportunity to instantly upgrade the defensive line. And then Breece Hall, I think he's gonna be the week 1 starter at running back for the Jets. So I know it's between him and Michael Carter, but I think Breece Hall is going to show up in training camp, and I think he's going to ball out in front of Robert Saleh and Mike LaFleur. So I think Breece Hall is a tremendous pickup. And then Jeremy Rucker might be the best tight end taken in this year's draft. So now the Jets have a solid duo of tight ends, and C.J. Uzuma, who was from Cincinnati last year, and now Jeremy Rucker will learn from Uzuma as a third round pick. So overall, I thought the Jets had a fantastic NFL draft. Now, another winner that I had was if you have it ready, Tim, is the one with the New York Football Giants, and I know John Natale was all over it on night 1. So this is what Joe Shane's first draft, Natale. What do you think?
Yeah, for first round, completely flawless. And I honestly would have probably have drafted Neal first, but I don't. No, sorry. No, I probably would have. What was it? I probably would have gone offensive lineman first, but I can let that slide because the defense guy is actually very good. My only nitpicky part was Wan'Dale Robinson, but since he can play running back too in a pinch, I don't really have that big of an issue with it. He reminds me of a cross between Tyreek Hill and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, I was literally about to say the same thing because the Giants are in desperate need of playmakers, and my friends over at Kentucky tell me that Wan'Dale Robinson was grossly disrespected in the draft process. Now, so these picks seem to be to be a collaboration effort with the coaches and the scouts, and with what Wink Martindale wants with his defense, and Thibodeau is a perfect fit for what Martindale wants to do. I mean, in terms of rushing the passer. So that's great. Evan Neal, the Giants desperately needed an upgrade at right tackle after the disastrous performance from Nate Solder this past year.
Mm-hmm.
So and they get a couple more offensive guards in the draft, and they'll compete for the left guard spot for coming out of training camp. So the Giants really cleaned up on the offensive line this offseason.
I like the tight end pick too, because they were in need of a tight end. Because Evan Ingram just wasn't cutting it.
I mean, I don't think the Giants had the cap room to bring back Evan Neal, so they basically had to start from scratch. So, but Dan Bellinger seems like a solid addition as well.
Yeah.
At number 4, with one of the 4th round picks, and this was the 4th round pick they got back in Chicago in the Justin Fields trade, and I just the one positive though that Dave Gettleman gave us on his way out was that second extra first round pick, which turned out to be a top 10 pick, and I couldn't be more thankful. Now, I do disagree with you on one thing, because the way the first 7 picks went out, so 4 defensive players went in the first 4 picks, so I think the Giants really had to take the last of the premier defensive prospects with the 5th overall pick, and then that would set them up to either having Ekwonu at 6, Ekwonu or Neal at 7, depending on what Carolina did. Supposedly, Ekwonu was on atop the Giants draft board at the tackle position, but Ekwonu went 6. Neal was my personal top tackle on the board this year, and he went number 7 to the Giants, so I thought that was a splendid draft for the Giants.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Giants wanted to pick Thibodeau first, because they were worried that the Panthers were going to take him.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But the rest of these picks seem like schematic fits for the Giants. So congratulations to Joe Shane, Brian Dapel, and also they fired long-time scout head of scouting Chris Pettit earlier this week, and he was part of all those bad drafts in the last 10 years that led to the Giants' lack of success.
And then we still have free agency too. We still have trades, so they could even improve even more.
No question about that. And I think we were talking about doing an episode like that in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Probably the tentative date right now is May 19th. I'm going to work on the list.
Yeah. So, and you can definitely bring that to the table then. But so I talked about we talked about the Jets, we talked about the Giants. So Tim, why don't you talk about your team, the Cowboys, and how they did with their draft?
First pick, Tyler Smith. Yes. I give a thumbs up to that. They need another offensive tackle because I think Tyrone Smith, he really can't stay healthy, and he kind of causes a little too much penalties here. Wait a minute. What am I looking at here? I'm looking at the wrong thing. We're looking at the wrong thing. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Yeah, as I was saying, Tyrone Smith can't stay healthy. He plays maybe 13, 14 games a season at best, and he's kind of getting up there a little bit. So I could probably expect to see Tyler Smith maybe getting a start over there. Defensive end, we need another one. We lost Randy Gregory in free agency. Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver. Yeah, we lost, of course, our big star, Amari Cooper, and we also lost a rising star in Cedric Wilson. So hopefully Jalen Tolbert can fit into the system because we still have CeeDee Lamb, and we still have Michael Gallup. It seemed like everyone was saying that we should have gotten rid of Michael Gallup, but he came back pretty good last year after suffering a big injury the year before. At tight end, Jake Ferguson. Uh, we did lose Blake Jarwin. He was pretty much injury prone, but in his place we have that great tight end, Dalton Schultz, who I think was the Cowboys' best receiver last year. Then in the 155th overall pick, we got another offensive tackle. Definitely fit in there. We got a corner, Deron Bland at 167. Have a linebacker, Damone Clark. I guess hopefully he can pick up if Leighton Vander Esch kind of slips a little bit. And I'm kind of looking for Vander Esch to kind of improve this year because I almost had to put out an APB for him last season. Defensive tackle, John Ridgway. And we wrapped up our draft with linebacker Devin Harper. So we pretty much went slightly defense heavy, but I think we should. We got offensive tackles, and we did get another wide receiver. So if I had to grade the Cowboys draft this year, I'd probably give it about a B plus. That's probably the best I can do with that. So that's my take on my Cowboys draft right there.
Yeah, see, I think what the Cowboys' strategy this draft was really to replenish areas of need. Because when you look at the defense, when you look at the offensive line or the wide receiver positions, and people often forget how important Tyrone Smith is to the Cowboys' offense because. Because I think Dak is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's going to reach the elite status because we've seen what he's done with a bad offensive line and Tyrone Smith not being in the stretch in November where Tyrone Smith wasn't available, and you look specifically at the Kansas City game, you look at the. I don't think Tyrone Smith played that Thanksgiving game against the Raiders last year, and the Thanksgiving game I thought that the Cowboys put up a lot of points, but in overtime when the Cowboys needed to score, they couldn't take care of that, but I was a little disappointed the Cowboys did not address the linebackers because them starting two linebackers in the wild card game against San Francisco really bothered me as a viewer. So I was a little disappointed in that. So as Tim said, I think that they need a lot of production from Leighton Vander Esch. They need some type of repeat performance from reigning defensive rookie of the year Micah Parsons. So I gave the Cowboys a grade of the C plus in this draft.
Natalie, got anything for the boys?
Yeah, I think overall I think they look pretty good. I think they just need a little more of a balance somewhere. You gotta do it. If I was to draft needs, I would typically go half and half on offense, maybe half on defense, because you want to have a little more variety. Other than that, I think their draft is pretty solid. It's just lack of variety.
Yeah, and the one thing that really gets me is inside linebacker Nakobe Dean from Georgia. I can't believe he did not go in the first round. I had my eyes on Nakobe Dean. And then all of a sudden, Philadelphia Chickens drafted in the second round.
Yeah, he was my personal steal of the draft.
I think it was payback from 2 years ago when the Eagles had their eye on C.D. Lamb, but the Cowboys ended up drafting him. So, it's yin-yang, you know?
And that's definitely one of the steals of the draft.
That was my top pick.
As I said Tim earlier, and look, Nakobe Dean, I believe I had Nakobe Dean going late first round, and he lasted into the third round. So I think there's going to be a lot of players, a lot of teams that passed up on the services of Kobe Dean because he is that good. I thought he was I thought he was the best linebacker in this year's draft, and I thought he would have been perfect for a team like Dallas that I've been telling people about. Maybe a team like the Giants would have been really good. Definitely a team like the Chicago Bears would have been great. I mean, to replace Khalil Mack, who went over to the Chargers. So, and look, the Philadelphia Eagles, they got some good play from their linebackers down the stretch last season when the Eagles made that run to make the playoffs. But but I think the Eagles needed more of that now. They did draft Jordan Davis from Georgia with the 13th overall pick, and he is a really big dude. And then, of course, how can we not talk about the Eagles this draft and not talk about the crazy trade with Jalen Brown or with AJ Brown? And that really is a huge part of what the Eagles were thinking of, and the Eagles gave Brown a $100 million contract extension. Now, the big question for Philadelphia, in my mind, is the quarterback position. Can Jalen Hurts, with the improved offense around him, can he take his game to the next level and get the Eagles to win the NFC East this year? That's going to be the question. The goal for the Eagles this season is to win the division, because I thought Dallas is weaker than they were a year ago. I think Philadelphia is stronger than they were a year ago. So the gap has definitely shrunk between Dallas and Philadelphia, two teams that made the playoffs a year ago. So can the Eagles win the NFC East with the roster they have, guys?
Yeah, that's really tricky. Is that usually the NFC East is the hardest division to predict, because everybody is either really good or everybody's really bad.
Yeah, because right now it's
Happens
pretty
every
much
year.
neck and neck between the Cowboys and the
I
Eagles.
think the only team we
kind
can
of a
rule
different
out is
story.
Washington, but everybody else I think is a
Yeah.
legit threat. Washington, I think they're in last place this coming season.
So I mean, if Carson Wentz can't make plays, on his can't be a playmaker at the quarterback position, Washington, the Commanders are dead on arrival, and I think so is Ron Rivera's tenure in Washington.
Yeah, hard to hear that for a former coach of the year right there who been through so much on the field and off the field. Although I do respect the hell out of that guy.
But of course Washington, with how dysfunctional they are and how horribly run they are, they need a fall guy from this, and I think it's going to be Ron Rivera if Washington doesn't win 7 or 8 games and makes the division competitive. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Carson Wentz and Ron Rivera this season, because look, Washington does have a couple of solid receivers, and Terry McLaurin, in my view, is a top 20 wide receiver in the game, and they jabbed with their first round pick, someone who graduated from Penn State today in Johannes Johnson with the 16th overall pick. Now, I think I thought there were better receivers on the board when you look at. You got Traylon Burks, who went to Tennessee to effectively replace AJ Brown. Christian Watson, I thought, was a tremendous pickup by the Green Bay Packers in the second round. I thought Green Bay had a decent draft, so given everything that was around them, and Christian Watson was certainly a guy I envisioned with Green Bay getting in the first round. If they didn't trade up and get a wide receiver on that end, so they got a couple of dudes from Georgia. When you look at Quay Walker, the linebacker, and defensive end DeAndre Wyatt with the 28th overall pick. So overall, I thought the Packers had a solid draft.
All right. Well, we do have one special request from a viewer, Mitchell Hill. He wanted to know about his Chicago Bears and what we thought of the draft picks that the Monsters of the Midway made in their draft here. We can see it coming up here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
It's the first picture I
Get
sent
that
you.
up there. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out this screen sharing thing. Well, actually, there it is right there. The Bears draft pick for the year. Flynn, what do you got comments on this one?
Yeah, I thought the single best pick of the Bears made was selecting Kyler Gordon with their second round pick because the Bears needed somebody to replace Kyle Fuller after he left a couple of seasons ago. So and Kyler Gordon was someone I had going in the first round, and he fell to 39. So I thought that was a good pick, but. Elsewhere, I don't know if there's much really to write home about in this draft. Now, I do like I initially like the hire of Ryan Poles as a general manager and Matt Eberflus as a head coach because I think Matt Eberflus definitely has that buttoned up mentality that Matt Nagy never had, but. So, but really, the Ryan Poles was really boxed in to try and get and he was faced with so much collateral damage from the clueless Bears ownership with not firing Matt Nagy or Ryan Pace after the Nickelodeon game when they got trounced by the Saints. So there wasn't really any expectations for the Bears for this coming season, but 2023, I don't know, but 2024 I think might be the next best chance for the Bears to really contend in the NFC North. I mean, given what they had. So Ryan Poles' first draft to me,
Yeah, basically a C, I guess.
So yeah, I would have given the Bears a C with their things because they really and think about this more insult to injury with Ryan Pace that they could have used the first round pick to get a wide receiver or a right tackle. So, and with that seventh pick there was Evan Neal. And of course, all the wide receivers available for them, but because the Bears were so desperate to trade up for Justin Fields, so that was exactly the price they paid. So everything that this year for the Bears is all about developing Justin Fields. I mean, with Matt Eberflus on the helm as a head coach. So we're gonna find out right away. How successful Justin Fields will be with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, let's take a look here. We had another list here that I want to go through. We're talking about the draft steals, and we did mention the Kobe Dean for the Eagles, and we see a few more here, Flynn.
Yeah, so we mentioned Kyler Gordon. Andrew Booth Jr. was somebody I had going. With first round picks, every single one of these guys I had going in the first round. Now Kyle Hamilton was going to be a steal. I regardless of what happens because I thought he was worthy of a top 10 overall pick, but because of the team needs of everybody that he was going to fall down. And Jermaine Johnson, same thing. And but now we need to talk about the Jaguars for a second, Tim. So it was because something really bothered me about the Jaguars. Not the Devin Lloyd pick. I thought Devin Lloyd was the second best linebacker in this year's draft behind the Kobe Dean, but they drafted Trayvon Walker with the number 1 overall pick over Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau, and I thought that was crazy what Trent Baalke did, and listen, we told you the night of the draft, the week before the draft, that Trayvon Walker was going to be the pick with the number 1 overall pick, and sure enough, he was somebody that is a Trent Baalke specialty, and you wonder aloud, not picking the best available prospect. Now, Trayvon Walker has a lot of upside, but is it worthy of him being the number 1 overall pick? No. So we have that. But another thing that really bothered me as I watched this guy fall off the men here. Why in God's name did Malik Willis go number 86? I mean, I had Malik Willis as a first round pick going to the Carolina Panthers. That's how high I am on Malik Willis. He has a lot of traits of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, and Willis has a laser beam of an arm. So he could run. He has another trait with Russell Wilson, and knowing his ability to run when he has to, and watching his tape, I really like Malik Willis. Now, he's gonna sit a year behind Ryan Tannehill. I mean, in Tennessee, and his comments are nothing to write home about from his press conference about him. It's saying it's not his responsibility to mentor a quarterback, but Malik Willis and Mike Vrabel, I think that could be a dynamic duo. I mean, in Tennessee going forward, and Malik Willis potentially throwing balls to Treylon Burks next year. That's going to be so cool for the Titans fans to hear about and watch as things go along. And look, I do want to say make another comment about Tennessee, and the Titans were really backed into a corner with giving Ryan Tannehill all the money, so they never really had the room in the salary cap to give A.J. Brown a contract extension. So I think that's why they needed to trade Brown to the Eagles to get someone who can catch balls with the 18th overall pick. So and that's Treylon Burks. So I think that's where we are on that regard.
Yeah, I would think with the combination of Tannehill and Willis, those Colts better be preparing themselves for the next couple of years, because Tennessee ain't going away in the AFC South. That's for darn sure. We mentioned something else here. Potential fantasy impact draftees.
Oh yeah.
I mean, guys that could start for their teams and maybe making a good impact on their teams in their rookie years.
Yeah, I think that
What do you say
I
about
think
that,
the one.
Flynn?
Yeah, I think the one player who might sneak his way into week one starters maybe in a flex role or as a running back too in 12-team leagues or more is Jets running back Breece Hall, who the Jets drafted with the 36th overall pick from Iowa State, and the Jets desperately needed more from the running back position in the draft, and I think Breece Hall is going to wind up beating Michael Carter. In the training camp battle and be the week one starter for the Jets at the running back position in 2022. That's how high I am on Breece Hall. Now, a lot of the names you see on your screen, I think, are going to be bench guys to start the season. But especially Jameson Williams, who might be someone you place on either don't draft or you place on the injured reserve immediately upon setting up your rosters for the season. But Sky Moore for the Kansas City Chiefs, I think he's going to be wide receiver 2 for Patrick Mahomes in week 1. So I think his value is going to be maximized by Mahomes. Same thing with Christian Watson, and Christian Watson is the 5th Packers wide receiver to be drafted in the second round in the last 15 years. When you look at you look at Greg Jennings, you look at Jordy Nelson, and you look at Devontae Adams. Every single one of those wide receivers has made at least one Pro Bowl during their time with the Packers. So history is certainly on Christian Watson's side. So and it is certainly possible that Christian Watson might be a guy that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to lean on a lot this season, given how barren the Packers wide receiver room is. You look at Alan Lazard and Sammy Watkins as wide receivers as well. So Christian Watson was a much needed pickup for Brian Gutekunst, Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, and the Green Bay Packers. And Traylon Burks is probably should probably start on the bench somehow. Kenneth Walker III, I think is a fascinating pick by the Seahawks, because if you look at where the Seahawks are with the roster construction, they clearly don't have the next quarterback on their roster going into the season. I mean, it's between Drew Smith and Drew Lock and Geno Smith. And the next franchise quarterback is not on the team right now. It's going to be a 2023 deal or a 2024 deal when you look at the Seattle Seahawks. But the Seahawks did draft 2 offensive linemen with 2 of their first picks, including Charles Cross, the 9th overall pick. So I think that made so much sense. And isn't it ironic, guys, that Russell Wilson, a reason Russell Wilson left Seattle was because of the terrible offensive line play that's been hampering the franchise the last 5 years, and the Seahawks only have 1 playoff win in the last 5 years, and that one was because the opposing team's quarterback got hurt in the second quarter of the game. So that was wild. But now Russell Wilson's gone, and the Seahawks instantly draft 2 offensive linemen. So I think Kenneth Walker is going to get 200 touches this year. I mean, from the running back position. So we'll have to see how they handle things with him and Chris Carson. But I think Kenneth Walker has a lot of traits of specialty, a lot of special things he can all bring to the table, and that's going to be fun too. And other things, Drake London, the Falcons don't have a legit wide receiver with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones not playing there this season. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, and then how about James Cook from the Buffalo Bills? And the Bills needed a running back in the worst way, shape, or form. And Devin Singletary played. I thought he played somewhat well down the stretch, but not someone who can take the load for a whole season. So
same for Zach Moss.
So I thought that was a smart, calculated pick by Brandon Beane. To get James Cook in the 3rd round to play running back for the Buffalo Bills.
Mm.
Oh, yeah,
I think there was another name on the didn't talk about yet. That might be worth mentioning. How do you see Kenny Pickett doing in his first year at quarterback?
So a lot of it really depends, though, on what he does in week one in training camp. It's certainly going to be a battle between him and Mitch Trubisky. It's a battle I think Kenny Pickett's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
But the question is, what does he have around him?
Right.
Najee Harris? Who exactly is he going to throw the ball to? Juju Smith-Schuster is gone. Is going to have to he's going to have to rely a lot on Deontay Johnson. Who was a top 10 fantasy wide receiver last season, and I couldn't be any more thankful to have him in one of my leagues last year. And he was a big reason why I made fantasy playoffs in that league last season. So. But right now, I think he's not going to be throwing the ball much because he's a rookie starter, and I think Najee Harris is going to have a lot of touches on his gauntlet this season. So I think this is going to be an offense predicated on running the football, at least for this season. But I don't think Kenny Pickett's a top 20 fantasy quarterback next season.
Well, early in the show, Flynn mentioned some draft winners. What about draft losers? Who did you pick for yours?
I think the most obvious is the New England Patriots. Drafting Cole Strange with the 29th overall pick. Drafting a quarterback with the 4th round pick. I mean, Bill Belichick is the single greatest head coach in the history of the National Football League. Bill Belichick, the only person outsmarting Bill Belichick is Bill Belichick. He is outsmarting himself in the draft process, and of course that's why the Patriots went on such a big splurge in last offseason, adding all these guys in free agency, and because the draft picks are not adding up for Bill Belichick, and and Cole Strange was the 72nd rated prospect on Dan Jeremiah's top 200 prospect list. So I think that was a tough thing to see for Patriots fans. Now I do think the Minnesota Vikings need to take a bit of a hit here, because the Vikings made 2 trade downs. One with the Lions to get a wide receiver. One with the Packers to get a wide receiver, and that's what happened with Jameson Williams and Christian Watson. So why on earth did the Vikings let 2 of their division rivals get better, and them not actively getting much back in return? I thought that was a disappointing draft for Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. I mean, in Minnesota to start his Vikings GM tenure.
Yeah. My question is, my question would be to Flynn is, with these bad drafts, do you think this could put both of these teams in last place this coming season?
Not necessarily Minnesota, because I think that Detroit still has Jared Goff as its quarterback, and you know how that goes. And then the Chicago Bears are still out there, but I do think the Vikings still have a lot of talent left over from Rick Spielman's drafts, and I think the Vikings blew a lot of leads last year, and I think that's something that Kevin O'Connell is going to have to work on. I mean, in minicamp and training camp. So I think the Vikings are a team in a weak NFC. I think they're a team capable of winning 10 games.
What about on the New England side? Do you think they could be in last place because of their bad draft?
The teams I would rank ahead of the Patriots are in the AFC are Jacksonville, Houston, the Jets, and I can't think of anyone else that the Patriots can say they're truly better than. Buffalo got better, Miami got a lot better with the Tyreek Hill trade, and Baltimore, Cincinnati. The Patriots are gonna have a tough schedule this coming season, because
there you have it. They could be in last place this season in their division.
Because they face the AFC North next year. They have Buffalo twice. They have Miami twice. A team that the Patriots have had a lot of trouble beating. And then the NFC, they play the NFC North this season, so they play Green Bay, Minnesota. So there is a chance that the Patriots might only win 7 or 8 games this season, given how brutal the AFC was. Now, if the Patriots were in the NFC, that's a whole different story. Then they're a playoff team, but in the AFC, I don't see it.
And of course, we mentioned the Patriots, so for our good friend who just happens to not be present with us today, well, you know who this is for.
Let's take a hit on a pipe dream. Was a fate or mistake, cause the time ain't up yet. Parts of my
Mr. Mac Jones.
Oh yeah, our technical director, Irene Namer, wherever you are, hope you're watching. We love you. Hope you'll come see us on the show here pretty soon.
Yeah. Yes. So other teams that I had as losers, I know I had Jacksonville for taking Trayvon Walker. I had the Bears as a loser for the overall for the overall things. Another big loser I had was the quarterback class in this year's draft, because only one quarterback went in the first 85 picks, and then Malik Willis, who I thought was the first round pick, went all the way down to 86. Matt Corral was someone I thought that would go in the second round to a team like Seattle. He went down to 94. Sam Howell. So remember we talked about Sam Howell as a potential quarterback guy. Well, he went to Washington in the 5th round. Also, I forgot to mention Desmond Ridder went to Atlanta with a 3rd round pick and pick 74, I believe. So I thought that was a decent pickup for Atlanta. And Desmond Ridder reminds me a lot of Dak Prescott. Now, but now this requires Terry Fontenot to build an elite offensive line around him. So So it's gonna take a while for Ritter to come around, but if you're a Falcons fan and Desmond Ritter fell to you in the third round, I think that's something you should be happy about. But yeah, other winners I had. We do need to mention the Kansas City Chiefs, what they did in the first round, because I was all over Kansas City during the draft process, what they would do. They didn't need to draft a wide receiver with either of the first round picks. They got Trent McDuffie at 21. They got George Karlaftis from Purdue at number 30. Two instant upgrades to their defense, and then they let the best available wide receiver fall to them at 54 in Sky Moore. I thought that was an excellent pick in and of itself. So that is I thought the Chiefs deserve a lot of credit. We talked about the Eagles, the Giants, the Jets, the Ravens, and the Lions and the Seahawks as well as potential winners. So I think those were some of the big winners and the losers. I think from this season's NFL draft.
Yeah, well, I guess we pretty much covered it from top to bottom right there. Of course, Natalie mentioned that there's still free agents still available. Guys still waiting on
Still,
deals.
a lot of big names haven't been signed yet.
Still have not been signed. And we should just let you know that I looked up the schedule release for the NFL. May 12th, 5 days from today. 5 days from today, May 12th.
Yeah,
So-
we basically know who's playing who. We just don't know like the order yet.
Yeah,
Right.
and if you're a team like the Arizona Cardinals and DeAndre Hopkins is suspended the first 6 games, this is kind of a big deal to know who you're playing, because you definitely the Cardinals play the AFC West and the NFC West, so this is a really big deal if you are a fan of the Cardinals, and the Cardinals have a really tough schedule because they got everybody in that crowded AFC West with Denver, Kansas City, the Chargers, but I know we need to mention one pick, which I think is important, which it's not noted as much, but the Chargers took Zion Johnson with 17th overall pick. He's going to play left guard. I think that's going to be really, really important for the Chargers this season, because I think the offensive line what was the reason they lost a couple of games last year. I look particularly at the game in Denver where Patrick Surtain had a couple of interceptions off Justin Herbert, and the pass protection for the Chargers failed that day. So I thought that was a needed pick for the Chargers. So that needs to be thrown out there. But yes, but I also know, Tim, that you're still that Law and Order comes back next Thursday.
Yes. I think Law and Order there. I know that there's the season finale is May 19th.
Yeah. So should we look at next Friday to talk about the schedule release? If you're not, unless you're gonna tape delay. Or unless you're going to record next week's episode and do the live reaction the night the schedule is released.
Yeah, I can always watch the shows on Hulu. They usually post on Hulu the day after their first broadcast. So
yeah, because I think it'll be interesting to know. I mean, for us to react the day of, because I think that's gonna be a popular topic for teams that day. So I mean I'll definitely have graphics ready as the schedule comes in. But but what the NFL did announce is the international games.
yes.
So the games. So there are 5 international games, 3 in London. So week 4 we got the Vikings and the Saints. Week 5 we get the Giants and the Packers. That's a compelling matchup. I think for London, because you got two of the historic franchises in the NFL. That I would have thought it would have been that game would have been at Lambeau Field, and maybe have a team like the Jets go to London, but but I think since the Jets went to London last year, I don't think that they want to send him there again this year. But yeah, in Week 8 we get the Broncos and the Jaguars. I mean, at Wembley Stadium. We have for the first time ever we have a game in Munich. So that's Week 10 between the Seahawks and the Buccaneers. And that's a 6:30 a.m. kickoff time for Seattle.
Wow.
So that's on November 13th. And then November 21st, Week 11, Monday Night Football game. I believe we got the I believe it's the 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals in Mexico City. I believe, it's the 49ers and the Cardinals Monday Night Football, Week 11. So we have the international matchup set.
Yeah, we have those matchups set, and we'll have everything else when the schedule is officially released on the 12th. Yeah. So I guess we pretty much covered everything we wanted to on this draft recap.
Absolutely. I think that these were the topics we said we wanted to cover. So
I'm just curious to know if Mr. Irrelevant this season is going to become the first quarterback to throw a pass.
Brock Purdy. I watched Brock Purdy in a couple of Iowa State games the last couple of years. He's kind of inconsistent, but he does have a lot of talent. So I wonder about him. But the 49ers need to figure out their Trey Lance situation quick, or else their season's going to go down the tubes.
Right. I agree. San Francisco's got a quarterback situation that they need to take care of quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yep.
But anyway, I think that's going to wrap up this edition of Fantasy Football Fever. It was probably the most interesting NFL draft that I've seen in recent memory.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be interesting to see how these top draft picks do, and only time will tell. We will be back on the 19th. We will be discussing the schedule. We'll be discussing free agents, and we got a whole lot more. But always, as a public service, I got to remind you all, check out John Flynn with Hooked on Sports. We got some links in the description area right here, so just click on those links, and you'll hear his big insight of not only NFL, but all the world of sports. So
I can't wait. I can't wait to destroy the Phillies on my next podcast episode. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Wow.
Big lead.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that. Oh, my goodness. Talk about a collapse. But anyway, y'all check out John Flynn with Hooked on Sports. And we'll be, like I said, we'll be back on the 19th to talk about the schedule release. We'll talk about free agents. And we'll talk about other stuff. We're getting closer and closer to the beginning of the 2022 season. So, until next time, for my good friends John Flynn, my good friend and Commissioner John Natale, our technical director Irene Namer, who is somewhere here in America just chilling. We just want to thank y'all for watching the show. My name's Tim McClellan. Take care of yourselves. Be sure to kiss your mom, hug your mom, say hello to your mom. It's Mother's Day tomorrow. So, Mom, I know she's probably not watching this, but Mom, I'll be giving you a call tomorrow. Okay? So, take care. Take care to all the moms, all the grandmoms out there, and all the moms to be. So, guys, be sure to talk to your moms, okay? Tim McClellan here. God bless you all. And as always, be a good sport. See ya.
15 seconds to air. Stand by, all cameras.
Ready with slow motion and isolated cameras.
Stand by, videotape, and roll tape.
And tape is rolling in less than 5, in 3, 2, 1.
Take tape.
All right.